You've been carrying more than anyone realizes, and somehow you're still standing. Not because life got easier, but because something in you refused not to break. Most people never talk about that kind of strength, the kind you only discover when you run out of options. Today, I want to show you the strength you've been walking with all along. Most people don't realize how close they are to their limit. They wake up tired, push through the day, and tell themselves they're fine. But inside, they're overwhelmed, worn down, and afraid that if one more thing hits them, they won't have anything left to give. But by the end of this episode, you'll understand the strength you've been carrying with you. The real strength. And you'll walk away knowing you're not as close to breaking as you think. You're stronger than you ever given yourself credit for. Before we go any further, take this moment for yourself. Wherever you are, walking, sitting, or standing, notice your breath rising and falling. Let it remind you that strength doesn't always shout. Sometimes it's a whisper. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel your body carrying you farther than you expected. You've survived storms no one ever saw. You've carried weight no one else knew about, and yet you're still here, still moving, and still becoming. Let this moment remind you, there is a strength in you that has been growing quietly, faithfully all along. Walk with it now, the strength that you didn't know you had. Thank you for joining me on Faith Between the Lines. I'm Scott. There's a moment in recovery when you take a step forward and realize it feels different than it used to. Not easier, not lighter, just steadier. It's the kind of steadiness that doesn't come from confidence or certainty or having everything figured out. It comes from surviving what you thought would break you and discovering that something inside you is still standing. You look into that inner mirror again, the same one that's been guiding you through these last episodes, and you notice something new in your reflection. A groundness, a quiet resilience, a strength that doesn't shout or demand attention. It simply exists, like a heartbeat you'd forgotten to listen to. This strength isn't loud. It isn't dramatic, and it doesn't try to prove anything. It's the strength of someone who has walked through the fire and learned how to breathe again. The strength of someone who has carried grief and still chooses to rise. The strength of someone who knows they can take another step because they've already taken so many they never thought they could. And maybe you wonder if anyone else out there is feeling the same shift. This quiet, unexpected steadiness. It shows up long after the world thinks you should be better. But this isn't about being better. It's about becoming stronger in ways you never asked for but now carry with grace. This is the beginning of walking with your new strength. Not perfectly, not fearlessly, but honestly. And the honesty is its own kind of power. It's like the strength that shows up in ordinary moments. You know, new strengths rarely announce themselves. Doesn't arrive with fanfare or fireworks. It slips into your life quietly, almost unnoticed, woven into the simplest parts of your day. You feel it when you get through a morning that used to overwhelm you. You feel it when you make a decision without second-guessing every angle. You feel it when you breathe through a moment that once would have broken you open. This strength doesn't look like what people may imagine. It's not bold. It's not loud. And it's not about pushing harder or pretending you're fine. It's the strength of showing up. The strength of staying present. The strength of choosing to keep on going even when the path is unfamiliar. You notice it in a way that you speak to yourself with little more kindness. You notice it in the way that you handle setbacks with a little more patience. You notice it in the way you carry your memories without letting them crush you. This is the strength that grows in the background, the kind that builds itself in the quiet corners of your life until one day you realize you're standing taller than you ever expected. And maybe you wonder if anyone else out there is discovering the same thing. That strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it's just a hum. Sometimes it simply holds as steady when the words feel unsteady. This is the strength you didn't know you had, and it's already becoming part of who you are. It's the strength that comes from what you've survived. You know, there's a certain kind of strength that only reveals itself after you live through something you never thought you could survive. It's not the strength people talk about when they say, "Oh, you're so strong." It's not the strength that looks impressive from the outside. It's quieter than that, more sacred than that. It's the strength that comes from the nights that you didn't know that you could make it through till morning, but somehow you did. It's the strength that comes from carrying grief that felt too heavy to hold and still finding a way to breathe. It's the strength that comes from heartbreak, from loss, from disappointment, from moments that shattered you and forced you to rebuild yourself piece by piece. This strength doesn't come from winning battles. It comes from surviving them. And then when you look into that inner mirror now, you can see it, not as a badge or a trophy, but as a quiet truth etched into the deepest part of you. You didn't choose this strength. You didn't ask for it, but it's yours now, and it's real. It's the strength that lets you stand when your legs are shaking. It's the strength that lets you hope even when hope feels risky. It's the strength that lets you trust that you can keep going because you already have. And maybe you wonder if anyone else out there is discovering the same thing. That the strength they carry was forged in every moment that you thought would break them. This is the strength you didn't know you had, and it's becoming part of your story. It's a way that will guide you forward with more courage than you ever expected. You know, through hard battles, hard won, I've learned that strength and fragility can walk together. There's a real misconception that strength means you stop feeling fragile. That once you've healed, your fear disappears. That once you're growing, the uncertainty fades. But that's not how real strength works. Real strength is the kind that walks beside fragility, not instead of it. You can still feel unsure and still move forward. You can still feel tender and still be brave. You can still feel the ache of what you've lost and still reach for what's ahead. Strength doesn't erase your vulnerability. It holds it. It says, you don't have to be unbreakable. Keep going. You don't have to be fearless to take the next step. You don't have to be healed to be worthy of hope. When you look into that inner mirror now, you see both parts of yourself, the part that trembles and the part that stands tall. And the truth is, they belong together. Your fragility keeps you human. Your strength keeps you moving. Your tenderness keeps you connected. Your resilience, that keeps you alive. You don't have to choose one. You don't have to hesitate or hide from the other. You don't have to pretend one cancels the other out. You're allowed to be both, soft and steady, wounded and rising, uncertain and courageous. And maybe you wonder if anyone else out there is learning the same thing. That strength isn't the absence of fragility. It's the willingness to walk forward with both hands open. This is the strength you didn't know you had, and it's carrying you farther than you realized. And you know as well as I know that those battles are hard fought and hard won. I wrote a poem for this episode. It's called The Strength I Didn't See. I walked into the morning with a trembling kind of grace, unsure if I could carry all the memories that I face. The world felt wide and heavy, yet something moved in me, a steady, quiet heartbeat of a strength I didn't see. It rose from nights of sorrow, from battles fought alone, for every tear that softened me and shaped me into stone. Not stone that's cold or rigid, but the stone that's warm and true, the kind that's carved by weather yet still lets the sunlight through. It whispered, "You are rising, though you're walking tenderly. Your courage isn't loud at all, it breathes so quietly." I felt it in my footsteps, in the way I chose to stand, in the way my heart kept healing even when I had no plan. And now I walk with reverence, from the storms that strengthened me, for every fragile moment that became my bravery. So if your path feels heavy and your spirit bends the knee, just know your strength is forming in places that you can't see. That peace, the strength I didn't see, is part of the arc that we're on. It's part of a bigger journey we're on together. Every episode in this series is about uncovering something that's real inside you. Not the polished version you show the world, but the quiet truth you live with every day. A strength that is a big part of the truth. Not loud strength, not a showy strength, the kind that grows in the dark when nobody else is watching. I want to share something with you that someone asked me recently. He told me that he had lost all of his faith. He said he wasn't even sure what faith really was anymore and how to get it back. I could hear the weight in his voice, that mixed confusion, the hurt, the wanting, something solid to hold on to. So I told him this. Faith isn't about carrying a Bible under your arm or announcing God from the rooftops. It's not about pretending to be perfect or acting like you've got it all figured out, because you don't. Faith is something much quieter, but something much bigger than you yourself, but close enough to touch. It's the strength for your soul. It's that steady place inside you that doesn't shake even when everything else does. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to perform it. You don't have to shout it. You just have to open the door a little. Because the more faith you let in, the stronger you become. Not on the outside, but where it matters. And the truth is, faith grows in relationships. Not religion, not rules, relationship. A personal connection with God. The quiet, honest between you and Him. That's where the peace comes from. The kind of peace that shows up when you need it the most. The kind that holds you together when nothing else can. So if you've lost your faith, you haven't lost it forever. You've just lost sight of it, and it's still there waiting for you. My closing blessing for the show is, as you step back into your day, may you feel the strength that you've been holding on to. Not the strength that you force, but the strength God placed in you long before you knew you needed it. May you walk with a deeper sense of calm, a clearer mind, and a heart that knows it's not walking this road alone. And when that weight of life presses in, may you sense the quiet presence beside you, steady, patient, and faithful, not demanding your attention, not shouting for your devotion, just offering peace, the kind that settles in your spirit when nothing else can reach you. May your heart rest, may your mind ease, may your spirit breathe again, and until we meet here next time, walk gently, walk honestly, and walk with the strength that you didn't know you had. This is Faith Between the Lines, and I hope I met you right where you are. And always remember, you are never walking alone.